What is going on, folks? It is your boy Prodigy here, and today I am bringing you my first ever Q&A video. If you ever wanted to learn more about me, well, this is the video to watch. So in my last thank you video, I asked you guys to drop some questions for a Q&A video for me to answer, and you guys dropped a decent amount of questions, so I'm gonna answer all of your long desired questions that you had. But before I jump into that, I just want to make two really quick announcements. Number one, I am now sponsored by That Tech Shop and PerformGG. There's a fly flying around me. Just a little bit about each company. That Tech Shop sells anything that's related to gaming, PCs, speakers, headphones, audio equipment, anything that you could need for either gaming or just PC hardware, they've got it. If you go over to their shop, thattechshop.com, I will have it linked down in the description. Use code PRODIGY, I'll have it right here, PRODIGY, at checkout for 20% off of anything that you purchase. As for my other sponsorship, I am now sponsored by another company called PerformGG. They sell the #1 performance, focus, and energy drink on the market today. They have two different flavors out right now. One of them is Sour Berry and the other one is Performance Punch. They do have a new flavor coming out in 4 days called Strawberry Kiwi, which I am more than excited for. This drink can be used for anything from gaming to just focus to gym to any kind of athlete that wants to use this to improve their performance. This helps boost your energy and focus while you're either gaming or working out. I'll have their website linked down in the description. Use code PRODIGY again for 5% off of any order that you have at checkout. Quick change of scenery. I had to leave because there was this dude that literally just pulled up and just was staring at me, and I felt really uncomfortable, so I came over here. Anyways, here's what the message said whenever I was reading his comment on my YouTube channel. Keep in mind, this was on my Where's the Store At prank. He said, and I quote, "Why are you even doing this? Just to look like a fool for a few hundred hits of video because you're boring, lame, and not likable?" I started busting out laughing. This is the funniest thing. Hey, Ryan McFlurry, listen to me. First of all, I hope you're watching this video, because if you are, listen to me very closely. You are the exact reason why I have so much motivation to push myself to greater things, because if I have people who don't want to see me succeed, it makes me want to succeed even more than I did before. So I got to give a quick shout out to you. Thank you so much for leaving that comment. And like I said in my comment, if you didn't like it, just click off the video. Nobody asked you to go click on it and watch it. Going past that, I do have the verse of the week at the end of this video because it already is the end of the week, so I'm gonna have to address that. But let's get into the Q&A video. Alright, so we're just gonna go straight down the list. First question by Awkward African: where do you see yourself in 5 years? Well, to be honest, only a clairvoyant could answer that question, and I'm not risking being caught by the government to answer that question. So next question, please. I'm just kidding. In 5 years, gosh, that's a long time. 5 years. I mean, really, at this point, to be honest, I'm really living day by day and just seeing what each day brings for me, because every day is a new adventure. And in 5 years, that's really hard to tell. But where I'd like to be in 5 years is just very financially stable. I'd like to do YouTube as a career. That's one of my biggest goals and passions. And if that doesn't work out, like I said, I'm going to school for aeronautical engineering. Hopefully 5 years down the line, I'll be close to finishing my degree and I can start pursuing that even more. Second question by Chase the Vase: are you gonna redo the intro now that you've changed your channel name? You know, I really don't know. I kind of want to keep Corrupt Prodigy in the logo just because it's kind of like what I started off with, and it really, my name hasn't changed that much with the exception of the corrupt part. I mean, sure, that's half of my name, I get it, but at the same time, I kind of like it the way it is, so I might just keep it. I don't know, if it ever comes down to needing a rebrand, then I'll consider it. Chase the Vase also asked, what is going to be the first thing you do whenever you hit 1 million subs? Well, probably the first thing I'm going to do is order a pizza, because I really like pizza. A lot. Yolos asks, are you going to do something related with film in college? Actually, no, I'm not studying anything film related in college. I'm doing aeronautical engineering, as I mentioned before, which is somebody who designs the blueprints and builds the computer replicas for aircrafts. It's basically the people who design it without building the aircrafts individually. Robert Fields asks, if womb sounds like womb and tomb sounds like tomb, then why does bomb not sound like boom? You know what, that's a good question. I thought about this for a long time. I could not come up with any logical reason as to why bomb should not sound like boom, with the exception of the fact that they're two separate words. And one of the questions I have for you, Robert, is why do you keep leaving all of these philosophical questions that I cannot answer, and that really messes up my brain? You're killing me. You're really killing me. Michelle asks, so like, I'm the favorite, right? You're not. Don't think for a second that you're the favorite child. Not for a second. Wraith675 asks, keep it up with the vlog style videos. Q&A merch, question mark, question mark, question mark. Well, I don't know. We'll see how merch goes. No, I'm just kidding. This actually, that has nothing to do with merch. I have no kind of merch out there for anybody to buy. That's actually just something my brother made for me as kind of like a quote-unquote replica for merch, maybe in the future, to see kind of how it would turn out. So, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. We might have merch soon. Glowboy asks a series of questions, so I'm gonna answer these one by one. Where were you born? I was born here in Florida, northeastern Florida. I had to think about that for a second. Northeastern Florida. I was born here, I grew up here, so I've been here all my life. He also asked, would you do YouTube as a full-time job? Hands down, no hesitation, yes. This is what I want to do. This is what I've always wanted to do. I've never put it into action until a couple of months ago, so to do it as a full-time job, yes, absolutely. Even if, I've said this many times before, even if I was just doing it not for the money, I would still enjoy doing it, but to do it as an occupation and receive, you know, what I need to be financially stable from doing YouTube and doing what I love, that would just be literally the ultimate dream for me. Glowboy also asks, what is your race? 200-meter sprint. Next question. I'm just kidding. My race, I'm mixed with a bunch of different things. I'm like Greek, Japanese, Sioux Indian. There's a lot. So we're just gonna keep it at white. He also asked, what is your sub milestone by the end of the year or next year? So my sub milestone by the end of this year, I really want to hit 1,000 subscribers. Do I think that's plausible? No, I don't think 1,000 subscribers in the next 5 months is plausible unless something really takes off with my channel, which it could. YouTube works like that. So my plausible goal by the end of this year would be 500 subs. By the end of next year, hopefully anywhere in the range of 2,000 to 3,000 subs would be really like stellar for me. And last but not least, Jackson asks, what is the most embarrassing thing that has ever happened to you? So sit back, relax, and grab your popcorn because this is a story. I haven't had much. I thought about this and it took me legit a week until last night to think of the most embarrassing thing that has ever happened to me. And I was really thinking hard. I really haven't had that many embarrassing things happen to me. Except I do remember this one encounter. I was in 6th grade. I went to a school called JWJ. Basically, there's this girl that I was really into that I had class with, and her name was Laura. You know, back in the whole middle school era, everybody wrote notes, and I was cliche enough to write a note, like a long, heartfelt. It wasn't just like, check yes or no if you like me. It was like a long, filled out note of like my feelings and my deepest fears of, I don't know, it was weird. It was a long note. Just like every other middle schooler, I folded it up neatly into a nice little square and I handed it to my man Rogel. He was my best friend back then. I took this note, I handed it to Rogel. It was actually, let me preface this by saying, it was before spring break. Oh gosh, there's so much involved in this story. So spring break, it was a day before spring break and I was sitting on Mr. Richburg's couch that he had in his classroom and I was sitting beside Laura. I managed to get a spot next to her. Me and her were friends at the time. It's not like she was just somebody random. And I ended up getting her phone number, but I didn't have a phone at the time because I was lame like that, I guess. Over spring break, I was texting her using my friend Skylar's phone, and it wasn't anything like weird. It was just me like talking to her and just saying, hey, like, what's up? How's your spring break going? Well, I get back from spring break, I write this heart-filled note, I hand it to Rogel, he hands it to her, and of course I gave it to him right as I was getting on the bus, so I didn't have to see her like reaction and everything until like while I was pulling away. The bus was pulling away and he handed the note to her, and bless my soul and bless his soul, I saw the most horrific face on this girl's face that I have ever seen, and immediately my heart sank. It was the weekend. We came back from the weekend. It was Monday. I was so terrified to go back to school because that vision of her face being so disgusted just kept replaying in my mind, and I did not have a good weekend. I come back, I have class with her. She doesn't say anything to me. I don't say anything to her. It's just kind of like normal class period. I leave as soon as the bell rings. The end of the day comes, and we always sat on the steps of the portable closest to the bus stop, and I was sitting on these steps surrounded by a bunch of my friends, including Rogel, and probably the most terrifying and embarrassing moment of my life was unfolding before my eyes. And what happened was, she had took the note that I wrote, she crumpled it up. Well, first, she wrote a bunch of animal noises on it. Like she wrote moo, oink, and a bunch of other weird things on the paper. And I remember she was walking over to me, she crumpled it up, and she threw it at me, and it hit me in the face. And literally, all of my friends just stared at me with their mouths wide open. And they're like, oh, she did not just do that. she did. She really did that to me. And literally, at that point, I wanted to die. And yeah, that's my most embarrassing story. Other than that, I mean, I really haven't had anything embarrassing. I don't really let things get to me that often or embarrass me. I mean, it is what it is. If it happens, then it happens. I mean, I don't know. I don't like dwelling on things, so I don't know. So yeah, that's story time for you. That was a trip. But yeah, that was all the questions that I have for this Q&A. Don't forget that at 250 subs, I am doing a giveaway, and I think what I'm going to do for it is I think I'm going to do a tub of the Perform GG drink mix that I'm now sponsored by, and I think I'll give away one of those. We'll see how it goes though. So now on to the next segment of this video. It's time to do the verse of the week, and I thought long and hard about this one. I came up with one of my most favorite Bible verses, and that is Joshua 1:9, and it states, "Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." So now let's break that down a little bit. So the reason this verse speaks to me so much is because about a year ago, I was never one to talk a lot. I was never one to engage in conversation. And I was never one to be quote unquote courageous. And I really just became a lot more outspoken and vocal about how I feel. So God commands us to not be, this noise is terrific. I love it. Can you tone it down a bit though? I love you, but please tone it down. So God commands us to be courageous whenever we're speaking about him to others. It's hard, especially in a world like this, to go out and be bold about being a Christian and being courageous and outspoken about what you believe. But sometimes it's not about how we feel about it, it's about what God commands us to do. So he says, "Have I not commanded you?" He commands us to be strong and courageous, to not be afraid, to not be discouraged. But God will be with us wherever we go. And anything that we do, God will be with us as long as we be courageous and we remain in him. Yeah, that's going to do it for the verse of the week for this. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said before, that tech shop and Perform GG, the links will be down in the description. For both of those, use code Prodigy. And if you guys do happen to purchase something from either one of those companies, send me a screenshot on Twitter or just let me know that you purchased something from one of those stores, and